welcome back to the channel. My name is Anushka. This is the first ever episode of Hear&How, which is my new mini podcast video Q&A series in which I sit down with some amazing creators to decode their process, their journeys, and just pick their brains about things that they don't usually talk about. My first guest is Sanjana. She is an LA-based singer, songwriter, and guitarist, and she's just come out with her new album Water I'll Grow, which is available on all platforms, so you must go check it out. I'm going to talk to her a little bit about producing her new album, her music, her journey, and some other fun things. So let's go and meet Sanjana. 1, 2, 3.
Heed my only advice, 'cause I'm living it up for tonight. I'm living it up for tonight. Can I be more than what I've been thinking about? Can I live in the moment just for once? Can I be more than what I've been thinking about? Can I live in the moment just for once?
Hi Sanjana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. So welcome to the first episode, I want to say. You're my first guest, so thank you for doing this basically.
Of course.
You have a new album out, which is amazing, and I wrote like a long message to you telling you how amazing it is. But I absolutely love it, and it's so beautiful. All the songs are lovely. I'm not being able to pick my favorite, so I actually really want to talk about your journey, the new album, how everything was. So I'm just going to start off by asking a couple of basic questions, and then we'll go into some details with each of them.
Okay, cool.
So we know that you are trained in Indian classical music and started off learning music really early. Could you tell me a little bit about, how that started? Were you always musically inclined? Did you study it? What's happening now?
Yeah, so I've kind of been singing ever since I could talk, but just kind of around the house, and I've always enjoyed it. And my mom kind of put me into Hindustani classical lessons at 8 years old or something. And I was very resistant to doing any other classes, by the way. This is the only one that stuck. So this was
The only formal training.
Yeah, exactly. Everything else, she tried to get me to do piano, but apparently I did not want to do it. Anyway, so I regret that. But I think we were here in the US, and then I was put into lessons after I moved back here, because I moved back and forth a lot, and that's why my learning was very segmented, because I learned a couple, I think I learned 1 year with one teacher, and then a couple months with another teacher, and then so very often
Right.
that. And then finally when I moved back here, I kind of was I don't really want to do it anymore. I wasn't really interested in singing it. I love to listen to people singing it, but I was it's not really, I'm not really passionate about it. So I think I started listening to watching Bluey when I was in India. And that's when I learned the concept of harmony and stuff like that. And my sister and I
Wow.
I know. And my sister and I just sing those songs around the house and stuff, and we still harmonize. And I think in high school is when I started writing my own music, and I was 16, I think. And I just gone to this Berkeley School of Music summer camp, and I'd gone for voice, but everyone there, I was 15 at the time, and everyone there was oh yeah, we're writing our own songs and stuff. And I felt kind of oh god, I haven't started writing my own, and I felt so old. I was oh my god, I'm so old. I haven't started writing my own songs. But I was
No pressure at all.
Yeah, so then I think after that I was I'm gonna prove them wrong, and then I wrote a song. I don't think it was that good, but yeah, so that's when I started writing music. And then ever since then, I think I've just been honing my craft, trying to get better at it. And then I kind of waited a long time before I released stuff, and I think that was good.
Right.
I just worked for so long trying to make myself better at it, and then now I'm releasing the stuff that I'm really proud of. So yeah, long-winded answer, but there.
That's amazing. Wow. No. This was great, because I kind of wanted to know for everyone who's watching us, I've known Sanjana for many years now. We kind of grew up together when they were in India, and so I've seen you when you started to learn music. So I remember that really clearly for some reason. Also because our parents made us feel very awkward at these, when we used to meet and they were like, okay, she can sing, so you sing, and you can dance, so you dance. So I think I remember it from that, which is traumatizing event. Your EP, how, tell me a little bit about it. I know you released songs over time. Is that something which is common practice, or did you do it consciously? And how did it kind of come about? And when did you know you want to release it?
So I had 3 singles out before the EP was out, and the EP is 5 tracks. So initially, I think it's pretty normal to do like singles and then the EP comes out. But my first single was like 2 years ago, so that's not very normal to like have that on an EP that's 2 years later. But I just kind of wanted to include it in the project. But it's pretty normal to have singles. I think because our consumer culture is so much like, I think we have such a short attention span, and now like our generation, and that's why singles are such an important thing in music, because people are not able to focus on entire albums anymore. So the way the music industry has shifted is that now you release singles, and basically when the album comes out, it's just like 2 more songs, because it's like, okay, so now you only have to listen to 2 more songs, so I have your attention right here, which is kind of, it sounds like crazy, but that's how it's kind of done now. Yeah, and I think you can tell with even like TikTok and stuff, everything has moved to like bite-sized little digestible pieces of content that everyone can quickly and then move on from. So I think singles are like the same way. So I think it's pretty normal for people to do that now.
Okay. So how has the response been so far overall? Was it something you expected, or because you released 3 of the songs earlier, did you expect a sort of a staggered response, or has it just been great because you get that drop of one entire album? What have people said to you? How have the reactions been?
Okay, so there's been people who have like listened to the singles and they really like the singles, and they're really excited about like the 2 new songs, and they like messaged me about the 2 new songs. They're like, oh, this is so cool. Some people who like haven't listened to anything yet, and then they find me through like TikTok, and then they listen to like the whole body of work completely, like without having heard anything else. And that's really cool because like they get to see like the album as a whole rather than like the little singles, little pieces that I've released already. And yeah, the response has been really nice. I've been getting like these messages and stuff from people just like talking about how it helped them or how they liked it. And I think like for me that's the most important thing, where I want it to be something that people can connect with. And if I get those messages and stuff like that, just makes me feel like, okay, like I've done what I wanted to. It's like I wanted to connect with people. I'm like, cool. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, so this wasn't a question, but now that you said TikTok, how has that medium helped? Because like you said earlier, it's so fast, how quick you have to kind of connect to your audience. And for music especially, which you really need to spend some time with, how does it work?
Yeah, so it's kind of crazy because TikTok is kind of controlling like the music industry right now, like because of the sounds, like that you can add to your video and stuff. Like it could, like anyone could like have a song just like make it on TikTok, and like if it makes it on TikTok, it can like it actually like translates to the actual music industry. Like I remember at one point there was this really old song, I forget what it's called. It's like, nobody gonna break my stride, nobody gonna throw me. It's like a super old song, but like suddenly went viral because there's some like meme or some challenge or something that was like happening around it, and so it suddenly like started gaining traction on TikTok. And then I looked at its Spotify analytics because I have Spotify for artists, so I can like check that stuff, and it was like there was like a direct like spike right after it went like viral on TikTok. So it's crazy like how much TikTok can kind of control that aspect of the music industry. But I think for new artists, it's like a really good platform to kind of engage new listeners because, as you know, like the For You page is like totally random. So with hashtags and stuff like that, you can really get people who are interested in your music to, you know, see your music, which otherwise I think on any other platform is almost impossible, like to get random people unless you pay for like ads and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really important for musicians to kind of harness that. I mean, I don't know if it's getting banned now. It might get banned in the US, so who knows? I think it's already banned in India.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it is.
Yeah.
Is. I feel bad for all the creators who had like massive followings, and
Yeah.
it's so sad because for me, I was literally just trying to understand it. I felt really old, but it's a big deal. So
yeah, I hope it
but
does.
so like it's kind of like a diving board for you then, for people to kind of experience a little bit, and if they like it, they go on to listening to other tracks that you made.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of crazy. Like I don't even know what would make like a video viral or not. I actually like totally accidentally I had like another TikTok that I kind of just made for like for fun, like another account, and I made a video on there like just for fun. Like I was like, haha, it's just for my friends, and it went viral, and I got like 100K likes or something. And I was like, no,
What?
and I was like, no, this is not the page I want to get famous. And then I tried to like redirect. Yeah. I was like, please just go this way. I was like, there's nothing else that's gonna come that's like good here. So like, it was just like for fun.
Okay, tell me if I can ask about this. If it's like I can't choose between my children, but what is your favorite song from your album as of like today, now?
Actually, I can choose. I think because like the other ones have like been out for a while, but I think like my top two right now is probably Water I'll Grow and then Can I. Well, Can I is like kind of always been like my favorite just because it's like an outlier kind of. It's like different than the rest of the songs, but probably right now I think Water I'll Grow is like my number one though, just because it's like
it's such a beautiful song. I mean, like Can I has been my favorite for a long time. Initially it was Falling because I had like personal stake in liking the song, even though I had nothing to do with the song. But for everybody watching, we were just we collaborated, and I helped Sanjana create like the artwork for her single Falling, and so I was like, I love this song, this is my favorite song. But I don't know if this is a compliment. I really think you should take it as one. I don't know if it is one to you, but Falling has been like my alarm, my morning alarm for the longest time. So I wake up listening to you. I don't know what that makes you feel like.
I'm glad. I mean, the thing what happens to me with alarms is like, one time I think I put like some song by Neon Trees like a long time ago. I think it was like 12 or something, but I like to this day cannot listen to that song because I just have this negative association of like waking up. So
that's the thing. That's the worst thing. I mean, and that's what's special about your song, that I can listen to it otherwise as well and not hate it. Like, and not be like, I don't want to listen to it anymore.
Okay, good. As long as you don't start hating me, it's fine. Yeah. So actually, your artwork like set precedent for like the rest of the EPs. I mean, the rest of the cover arts too. Like that ended up being so cool because I think like it ended up being such an important part of like the visuals for the EP. So
for sure. Actually, I was gonna ask you about it. So we worked on that, and then later, as you came out with Can I and Why, and now Water and Grow, I even saw you kind of adapting a similar style. What was the thought process behind the album art?
So definitely with Falling, like that's what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, I think that could be really cool, where it's like you can't really tell when you first look at it if it's like an image or art. Like, and I definitely had a lot of people like look at the cover art for Falling and be like, wait a second, and then like realize that that's art. Like that's how like well it had like blended with the background. I made that art, and I was like, okay, people like responded to that really well. And I think it's good to have something that's like eye-catching that people can see, and like I feel like the music also kind of went with it. So we decided to keep that theme going for like the rest of the cover arts, to kind of make it like the overall like visual aspect of the EP, like to have this like cohesiveness go through all of the songs. And I wanted to like feature a different artist every time because I thought that it would be cool to have like a different spin each time. And I think that really came through well, like especially Can I think it was like really different from like the other artworks, which also works.
Yeah.
The song is super, I feel like it matches the song. So yeah, I think after
Exactly.
yeah, exactly. So I think Falling was like the first, like it was like, okay, we're gonna do this now for the rest of them. But I think because the first one worked so well, we were like, okay, let's just keep it going for this EP, and then probably for the next EP I'll do something different. Like, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I love, because even though you release the songs over time and your album came out just now, when you look at it as a whole, it looks like it's one thing, you know, which is amazing because different artists have worked on it. The songs are so different. And like you said, I mean, oddly, they ended up really complementing the style of the song. What were the obstacles and challenges that you faced when you were creating this album? During like the production, writing the songs, overall distribution, marketing even, what was it that you had to kind of struggle with and then figured out as you went along?
So with the production itself, I think it was definitely like a little bit of a learning curve. So my friend Daniel Martz was the producer for this entire EP. We actually met in high school, which was a really long time ago. So like we've known each other for like 7 years. And we used to do stuff in high school too, but honestly, it was really bad. But so we've both kind of like grown with each other, and I think like the first song was definitely like probably the hardest. Like Falling was definitely the hardest because it's like our first time working together in that sort of capacity. I think we'd done some stuff before that, but this was like the main thing that we had started together, and that was definitely difficult to kind of put together at the beginning. But I think after the first song, it was kind of like smooth sailing. Like we figured it out, like we know how to work with each other and like get the sounds that we need. And even if we hit like little struggles, I kind of like trust that, you know, it's gonna be fine. Like we're gonna figure it out. So it's good because I have this really good working relationship with him. He's extremely talented, like multi-instrumentalist, producer. He does everything for the songs. On the business side, I think the most difficult thing, actually, I don't know if it's like an obstacle, but just in general, is just that because I'm an independent artist, I have to do everything that a label would normally do for myself. And I have a really small team, but that helps me too. But I think in general, it's just kind of like a little bit annoying to like divide your time and do that. But a part of me also enjoys it because sometimes, I'm sure you also feel this, like when you're kind of like in a creative rut and like you're like, oh, like I just need to do something else and then come back to it. It's nice to like kind of look at myself as like a third person and be like, how can I market this artist, even though it's like
That does help though. That is such a great like piece of advice for anyone. It's really helpful to kind of get outside of your physical body and be like, what are her talents? What can I sell?
Yeah. So yeah, it's nice to like get away from it, but I think at some point I would like to kind of not do it so much. But as of now, it's like I kind of have to, but it's like helpful to learn that part, and I think it's really important for everyone to know that part of it, because otherwise you're just kind of, I think if you just focus on the music, you're kind of doing yourself a disservice because it's not going to get in front of anyone, you know? And I'm sure you know this too because you're great at the social media game. But yeah, otherwise I think it's honestly kind of fun for me, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, I noticed when you posted a little bit about the album that you now have a manager. And so how does that work out?
Yeah, so my manager is actually one of my childhood friends. So he's actually 1 year younger than me, and he's like super driven and like very like ambitious, and he has had a lot of experience in the music industry considering his age. He's very smart, and I've kind of been working with him like unofficially for a while. It was kind of crazy because for quarantine we were kind of in the same house. We were living together as like roommates, me, him, and his sister. And he kind of got stuck here on accident because he came from New York, and for spring break or something, and then he was like, whoops. But it was kind of a blessing in disguise because it was the first time we could like work in person for so long. And yeah, so I work with him, and then I also we partner with this other manager who actually found me through TikTok. We kind of like the three of us work, and then my sister helps with like all of the visuals, which is like the photos. And honestly, like I ask her for advice on like everything. I'm like, does this mix sound good? What sounds bad? Like tell me, because I know she'll be honest with me. So yeah,
Right.
it's a really small team, but yeah, I think definitely having a manager.
Thank you so much for watching that video, guys. If you like it, don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up. Check out part 2, guys. I will be linking it here somewhere. It's gonna be somewhere around you.